I've made 4 separate videos related to the Nameless star, and all of them have been about her name. But as I said the last time that I brought her up, I am done discussing that theory. Kind of. So this video is going to be focusing on something else related to her identity. Something that I think may have an implication for the nameless woman that we saw in the Vir and Rex commercial. An implication that most of us haven't really considered. In Kingdom Hearts 3, the Nameless Star explains that she is nobody's heart anymore and that they took away her name and everything about her. The question I've been asking myself for a while now is, who exactly is they? And what exactly does she mean by they took away her name and everything about her? Sora was obviously wondering the same thing because he asked her this question too.
So, whose heart are you?
No one's anymore. They took away my name. Everything about me.
So, who did this to you? Heartless steal hearts. So, a nobody?
Somebody.
I always like that scene just because of how he brings up the nobodies and she's just like, somebody. She doesn't know what he's talking about. Anyway, so someone took her identity, which is why Yozora could easily be confused if a certain someone was using her name. Yes, I'm slipping in the Sora star theory a little bit. But anyway, speaking of Yozora, Yozora has already revealed that whilst he does go by the name Yozora, the form we see him in isn't what he really looks like. Now I'm going to make a separate video on this because I think this actually has some very interesting implications. But for this video, the point that's relevant is that in this world he comes from, the other side, unreality, it seems it's possible someone can have their heart replaced with another's, and someone can be in control of a body that isn't originally theirs, which is something we have seen happen in Kingdom Hearts in a number of ways before, so this concept isn't exactly new, but how it works in unreality isn't really known just yet. But we at least know that it can happen. So in the case of the Nameless Star, could it be possible then that someone has her physical body whilst her heart remains suspended in the final world? Remember, she was surprised that Sora was able to retain his physical form in the final world, and we know the way someone ends up in the final world is related to death and dreams. And remember what the fairy godmother says about her form being taken from her.
You see, she's very special. Her form was taken from her, but she managed to find her way here. If she goes back to her world, her heart will certainly be stolen. Right, dear?
So her form was taken, which means that her heart has been left stranded in the final world. And the fairy godmother also says that she can't return to her world, otherwise her heart will be stolen. Now this heavily implies that someone on the other side is waiting and willing to snatch her heart at the first opportunity. Now who that someone is, I honestly have no idea, but what I do have an idea on is what it might mean for the future. The Nameless Star is pretty much confirmed to be the woman who is in the commercial of Vir and Rex, and so it stands to reason that her original form would be that woman that we saw in that commercial. But because her form was taken from her, like the fairy godmother says, that means that someone else may possess her body now. But since she also says that they took away her name and everything about her, then it goes further than just her form. It's her entire identity. Again, this connects with my previous theories on her name, because if she's saying someone stole her entire identity, then it would make sense that Yozora mistakes Sora for being the person that stole her identity, and that would explain why he fights him. He's fighting him because he's trying to restore her to her original form. If you want to know more about my ideas on that, just watch the last video I did on the Nameless Star. I'll put a card for it right here. If my theories are correct and Yozora is mistaking Sora for being the one that stole the Nameless Star's identity, then that means that the actual thief does not have to be using her original form or body in order to impersonate her. Just using her name might be enough to arouse suspicion, hence why Yozora says, why are you using Sora's name? Now, regardless of whether or not the Nameless Star's name is actually Sora or not, it still means that somewhere in Quadradum there is an identity thief, someone who currently is masquerading as the Nameless Star, using her name, whatever her name might be, and possibly her true form for some purpose. And if that's the case, I highly doubt that person would be our ally. Now again, I have no real idea who might have actually taken the Nameless Star's form or why they would have done it. maybe it's to manipulate Yozora for some reason, or maybe the Nameless Star had an important position in their society and whoever took her form did it to use the power her identity holds. Or maybe somehow, and this is just a wildcard suggestion, maybe somehow Sora from Kingdom Hearts unknowingly did take her identity, but that's a very complex suggestion and I'm not really confident in that idea. It's just something I'm throwing out as a possibility that does link to an even crazier theory I have about Quadratum and Unreality, but that's a whole theory I may never talk about because it's a bit too wild. But that crazy idea aside, I do believe it's very likely someone is using the Nameless Star's identity, and I would bet that person is going to be an enemy of ours. If so, I'd be very interested to know what their motives are, and of course who it is. I would imagine it's a completely new character, but you never know, it could be someone we already know. I hope it isn't, and I hope it is someone new, but you know, this is Kingdom Hearts. And it also has me thinking about what power is being used to take people's forms anyway. Is it technological or is it something more magical? And this of course would also be related to Yozora's heart being in someone else's body. How did that even happen? The Nameless Star lost her body, not her heart, whereas Yozora's situation seems to be that he basically swapped bodies with someone else. It's quite confusing with what little information we have, and a lot of that information is quite vague, and that's why we have to make all these theories. So yeah, basically my thoughts are the next time we see the Nameless Woman's face, the person behind it may not be as friendly as the heart that we know the Nameless Star to be. But anyway, that's all I've got to say for this theory video. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the Nameless Woman going to be friend or foe? Do you think someone in Unreality is using the Nameless Star's form? Or do you think it may be something more complicated than that? Who could it be and why could they be doing it? Share your thoughts on it in the comments. I have been talking quite a lot about Union lately, but I really do like doing Viren Rex theories. I mean, I basically started making Kingdom Hearts content because of how much Viren Rex inspired ideas and theories in me. I mean, this is completely new territory for the Kingdom Hearts series that will probably introduce brand new concepts as well, and I bet a lot of the things we thought we knew about Kingdom Hearts is about to be completely flipped on its head in this next saga. I think what is coming next could easily be some of the best Kingdom Hearts content we've ever seen, and of course whenever that content drops and is something interesting, I'll have a video on it. Also, I'm pretty sure Union should be having an update at some point this month, right? I mean, the last one came out pretty much at the end of January, so I do fully expect to see something in this coming week as it's the end of February. And man, if it's picking up from where it left off with the Union leaders and Darkness, man, we might see some hype stuff this week, so I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that. I can already smell the theories that are coming, so I had to drop this Viren Rex theory because something tells me I'm going to be talking about Union again by this time next week. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. I will be following on from this theory by discussing some thoughts I have on what Yozora really looks like. I've wanted to talk about that for a while now, so subscribe and hit the bell notification if you want to know when that video drops, as well as my other theories. Also, thanks to everyone who has already subscribed and to everyone that likes and comments on my videos, especially those of you who always come and support. I really do appreciate it, and I am almost at 1,000 subscribers, so if you are not subscribed and would like to help me hit that goal, then please feel free to hit the subscribe button. But anyway, thank you for listening to this entire video. My name is NextGenNovelist, and that's all I've got to say, and I'm out. Peace.